What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And this one I wanted to break down what's going on with the overall market, what's going on with NIO, Tesla, SPY, Nvda, and a couple more tickers, and also some very important levels to be watching for. But before I break anything down, all this information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo, deposit $100 into the account, you are guaranteed up to 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed up to 15 free stocks, and the offer ends very soon. Anyways, now let's break down what's happening to the market. I want to apologize, guys, in advance in case I cough in this video. I'm feeling a little bit under the weather, but I'm still going to do my best to record this video anyways. Also, guys, my original computer had an issue, so I'm using a different laptop right now, excuse me. So the setup might look a little bit different, but I still want to just go over all of this. So NIO is up 3.85% for the day, holding up quite nicely, and once again making a nice bounce. But the question is, will NIO continue to push, or is this thing about to get a big rejection? I'll be talking about that later on. Now, when it comes to other big things going on, we have some more data coming out for tomorrow. Don't forget that at 9:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, or about 15 minutes after the market opens, we have the S&P Global Composite PMI flash coming out, and all this PMI indicators. This is very important for manufacturing and services again, so we'll see what this causes for the markets. Watch for volatility at that time. That's pretty much it for data, though everything else is very, very minor, at least for Wednesday. What's going to have a bigger effect on the market, in my opinion, is going to be these earnings, right? So we actually had Netflix announcing its earnings. This is the biggest one for aftermarket close, and they did relatively well. Netflix is up pretty big, and this is actually going to lead to an interesting move in the markets. For Wednesday, we also have AT&T before market open. Then we have Tesla and IBM after market close. That's going to be very important as well. Make sure you watch all of those tickers. For Netflix, they added 13.1 million subscribers, the top revenue estimates, and they're gaining more membership pushes. That's once again very, very good for them. They beat EPS was a small miss, but it's very close. Revenue was a big beat, but their guidance, you can actually see it right here. Excuse me, guys, sorry about that. Their guidance right here was actually very, very strong. They got about $4.49 as the projected EPS, which is higher than what Wall Street was expecting at $4.10. So strong guidance, good earnings is helping the market push. That is some good news for the markets. As far as NIO goes, they're still going over the ES6. Basically, they're still talking about that. I'm not really seeing any new developments, but that's something that's worth noting. Besides that, NIO had the new registrations come out. They did about 1,900 new registrations for the week ending on January 21st. This would be like the third week of January, which is a slight improvement compared to before. We saw a lot of EVs bounce. Li Auto did 7,600, XPeng did 1,800, Tesla saw a 15% increase at 11,700. That's why we saw a lot of EVs bounce. This helped NIO with the recovery phase. We actually saw this as well right here. NIO, Nexus, and just a couple more others. They're basically leading a little recovery day for Chinese stocks. That's good news for NIO. As far as Tesla goes, don't forget, guys, Tesla has earnings for tomorrow. It's going to have a big effect on NIO and the whole markets. Tesla's going to be announcing their EPS and revenue, not to mention their operating costs, which is going to be very important. Make sure you watch that very carefully. On top of this, we had 118 million in volume for NIO, above average. And also, I just want to add that Bank of American Securities is having the same view. Price-price ratio is dropping as NIO was relatively weak, but it has potential to bounce. And then Wednesdays historically are green about 56% of the time. There's a good chance NIO is going to try to bounce tomorrow. Watch for volatility at noon and 2 p.m. We'll be watching all of this very, very carefully. So that being said, let's talk about the charts. Looking at NIO, I just want to mention that NIO, in my opinion, is still showing some life. It's attempting to push up even higher. We got a nice inverse head and shoulders like structure, and it's trying to push even higher than before. In order for this to continue pushing, we need to see NIO try to break the 20 EMA on the 4-hour time frame. What's good about NIO is the fact that this is resembling an inverse head and shoulders like structure right over here, which means there is potential for NIO to bounce thanks to that. We could see NIO to kind of retrace a little bit, then bounce and start pushing up to those higher levels. So I think for tomorrow, NIO might actually come down just a little bit, drop a couple of points, drop like 20 cents, fill this gap, then bounce and start pushing up for 6.5. I think it's going to drop then bounce. And I think that we have a nice symmetrical inverse head and shoulders forming. And I think that NIO is going to try pushing back to higher levels. There's also a possible change in market structure as NIO is attempting to make higher highs and higher lows. So we will see if that ends up being the case. But with that being said, guys, that's what I'm going to talk about NIO for now. As far as SPY goes, I just want to mention that SPY is also showing some life. If you look at the charts, very, very nice uptrend. We actually managed to break this resistance. Now we're approaching 486. So it's looking very strong, especially after we got this nice breakout. So this looks like a Wyckoff accumulation. We got a nice double bottom. It's breaking out, and we're going to be watching to see if this could break 486. If it breaks, watch 487.5. SPY is looking a little bit more bullish, at least approaching Tesla's earnings. So, excuse me. As far as Tesla goes, Tesla, in my opinion, it has a nice double bottom like formation. We might see Tesla see some buyers stepping in. It might just chop around. I think it's going to pop when we open, retest these high levels, because you could see it's been, we have this pattern on Tesla where it kind of like pops and drops at open. So there's a very good chance it's going to continue to do that, right? So that's, excuse me, that's very, very important. With that potentially happening, we might see Tesla attempt to push up when we open, push back up to this resistance up here, come back down, then trade sideways. But I think Tesla's going to close a little green. I think some buyers might step in at the very last minute, some FOMO buyers for earnings, and then earnings is going to cause a big move for Tesla. Will earnings cause Tesla to bust and come all the way back down to the 180, or is Tesla going to run all the way back up to the 220s and 230s? In my opinion, I'm just open-minded to anything. We'll have to see what earnings causes. That's going to cause a big move in the markets. For just a few more tickers, look at the QQQ. This is holding up nicely, attempting to push. If it breaks 475, watch 425. If we break that, watch 427. If we break down, watch 422.5 and 421. If we lose that, 420 is next. It looks bullish. It looks like I might try to push above 425. Nvidia is trying to bounce. Watch 600 as resistance. If we manage to see this as an accumulation, and we got this like wick down, here's another accumulation. This could be like an inverse head and shoulders for another push. So watch and see if we could break 600 tomorrow in 602. If we manage to do so, 605 plus is coming. So Nvidia does have some potential to bounce. On Apple stock, in my opinion, Apple is starting to curl here, but it's fighting 195, kind of chopping around. If we break out, there's some minor resistance on 196 and 197. 197 is going to be our target if you break 195. So I think Apple has potential to bounce now. It's attempting to break out. It's favoring the bulls a bit. And just to be safe, watch and see if it holds. If it loses 194.4, watch 193.5. If they lose that, a bigger drop is coming. But in my opinion, there's a good chance Apple's going to attempt to uptrend. We're going to be looking for an attempt for it to push higher. As far as NIO goes, we have a nice inverse head and shoulders like structure. With the market attempting to bounce, we might see NIO retrace just a little bit and start bouncing and pushing up higher. This chart is favoring the bulls slightly more, so watch it very carefully. With that being said, guys, I think it's finally time for NIO to attempt to bounce. Now, I know that NIO has been underperforming. I know that NIO has been very weak for quite some time. This is because the entire EV markets took a hit, and many stocks out there just got decimated amidst so much bad news and negative global economic macros. But as far as NIO goes, Tesla's earnings could affect it. There could be a small temporary bounce, and for the long term, excuse me, I'm still a very, very big bull. I think that NIO is going to continue to pump, at least for the next years to come. So that being said, thank you for listening. Have a great day, guys. Remain calm, cool, and collected, and I'll see you guys very soon in the next one. Thank you, and peace out.